Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new episode of Words of Wellness. I'm your host, Yassir Al-Manawi. I'm a clinical therapist. Today we are going to be talking about dissociation from this world. In different words, we're going to be talking about worldly stuff. Stuff doesn't mean issues. It means stuff, like things that you want to buy, things that you're attached to. And we're also going to be talking about how do we use this in the treatment of certain types of anxiety. So let's go ahead and read the hadith, and then we'll get back to our discussion. From Abu Umama, Iyas ibn Talaba, who said, the companions of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned these words one day in his presence. So Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, will you not listen? Will you not listen? Wearing old clothes is part of Iman. Wearing old clothes is part of Iman. Okay. When I read this, I actually left by one thought, that do not get overly attached with worldly possessions, even clothes. It's even to the stuff that you use every day. What does that mean? We have the disorder or the condition of anxiety, and we also have the condition of depression. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Because anxiety is the flip side of the same coin to what? To depression. They're the same thing. If you have one, you have the other. If you're getting treated from one, you have to get treatment from the other. So now we established that anxiety and depression go hand in hand. Let's see what are the causes of anxiety. The causes of anxiety, a lot of people will tell you, well, it could be chemical imbalance. The same with depression too. Excuse me. It could be chemical imbalance. It could be situational. Or psychologically, it could be, and it is, fear. What does that mean? Fear. How is fear connected to anxiety? A lot of people will just look at it and say, how is fear connected to anxiety? Fear is connected to anxiety because if a person is afraid of something that might or might not happen, they will be anxious about it. They think about it. They think about it a lot. Especially if these things are close to them, dear to them, to their hearts, then they are attached to it. If they are attached to it, then they feel anxious if they lose it. They don't want to face this fear. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about fear just for a minute. Fear, in our today's society, we made it into a negative feeling. But fear, in the beginning, it was a positive, and it is supposed to be a positive feeling. How? Let's look at fear. God gave us our feelings. Feelings, as we said before, it cannot be controlled. It's there, and it's there for life. You feel something every minute of your day, of your life. So, fear is one of the feelings. If I'm afraid of something, that means I need to run away, right? So God gave me the fear for what? For protection. But you know what? Even though fear was given to me or is given to me for protection, to protect myself, I switched that into something, or society switched that into something that is negative. How? When we're raising children at a younger age, we always teach our children what? Not to be afraid of anything. A man cannot be afraid. It's not good for somebody who lives in a developed society or modern society to be afraid. So we instill in the kids, in the children, in our children, that fear is something negative. Why? Because we're not supposed to be afraid. To the point that we switch the fear from a positive into what? A negative feeling. Okay? And that is a cause from the causes of the disorder and anxiety. Somebody, for instance, is afraid of losing somebody that they love. If they are afraid of losing somebody that they love, what happens? They think about it over and over and over again. It gives them a great deal of anxiety, anxiousness. They become anxious about it. They just don't know what to do, and they think about it, and they're afraid of losing them. Well, I tell everybody that has this disorder, stop thinking. Just stop thinking for a minute and get your head out of yourself. You don't have to look inward, look outwards towards everybody else. Do something. Because if you start acting, not acting listens, I mean acting as in doing things, doing positive things in your society, doing things for the people that you know. If you do this stuff as much as you think, guess what? This disorder will be gone. It will subside, and eventually it will disappear. There is another way of dealing with it, which is what? Desensitization. Desensitization, it reduces the anxiety level. It means it has only one meaning. If somebody is afraid of something, then I actually present them with this fear over and over and over again until they get used to it. And then once they get used to it, what happens to the fear? It goes away. It's not there anymore. And that's what we do. Okay? So let's see. If people are attached to worldly stuff, issues, or worldly stuff that they bought, somebody bought a car and they like it very much. Somebody bought a stereo and they like very much. Somebody is attached to even things like cassette tapes or anything. What happens? The amount of attachment they have for it, it's going to equal the amount of anxiety. How? If you take a look at somebody who loves somebody else very much, they will be terrified of losing them. I mean, I have people sometimes, when I even explore the issue about, well, maybe this person that you're depending on is going to pass away. He's going to leave you sooner or later. I mean, it's going to happen. You find the person or the patient saying what? Oh, no. Don't even say that in front of me. I cannot deal with it. I cannot imagine living without these people. With other people, their lifestyle or their status in society is very important to them, to the point that they cannot imagine living without them. You have, a lot of people would say, well, just for a second, I'm trying to get it. A lot of people would say, if I lose this amount of money, I don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm going to die. And it happens, actually. Some people, if they work in the stock market and they lose a huge amount of money, they get a heart attack. Why? Because their threshold couldn't take it. Everybody has a threshold, and their threshold cannot take it. So, therefore, they actually pass away. That's why you need not to get attached to worldly stuff. I'm going to leave you with these words, and we'll see you in our next episode, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.